Welcome to Book Thots, brand lifestyle podcast. We are thoughts for books, and these are our thoughts on books. I'm Jenna.
I'm Emily.
I'm Adriana.
Three sisters stripping down one book at a time. Today we will be reviewing chapters 68 through 75, the final part of our 10-week journey through Heat of the Everflame, the third book in the Kindred's Curse saga.
Before we jump in, we do have a content warning. Today's podcast is rated mature. We are Book Thots after all, so we are going to be using adult language, talking about adult topics. So please pay attention to who may be listening near you. Additionally, this episode will include spoilers for all three current books. Each episode we will focus on specific chapters, but our conversation will include the entire series. So, if you haven't read it, today's episode is not for you. Lastly, I'm just going to apologize ahead of time. But definitely Emily and Jenna are going to mispronounce a name or place. But today, Emily will be leading this episode. So, strip it down, girl. Strip it down.
See, there you go. You said it confident.
Perfect.
It's only because you fed me before this.
So that's the key, is to just keep you fed.
Yeah, basically.
Chapter 68. Daddy? Diem's dad. Diem's dad, aka Oh Fuck A voice, was everywhere. Diem says it had a primal magnetic hold on me, like my blood.
It's too much. It was too much.
It was too perfect, wasn't it? I got into characters.
Wait, the
so
second
quick.
time you read it, please do it in your most deep voice.
Daddy.
Diem's dad, aka Oh Fuck A's voice, was everywhere. Diem says it had a primal magnetic hold on me, like my blood somehow knew it had come from his veins. 'Cause it did. Diem is laying in her dad's Gryvern, right? Gryvern.
Gryvern.
Yeah.
That word, I don't know if
It's haunted you this whole series.
You just need to break it up.
I don't know if I have
Look at
dyslexia,
that.
but only for this word.
Burns.
Yes, thank you. Please go through and do that.
All
for
of them.
every single mention. Diem is laying in her dad's Gryvern's claws, looking up at her father. His skin was illuminated, but she couldn't help but notice their similarities. Ice white hair, dark gray eyes, slope of his nose, etc. He just says, "I'm the man who gave you life." Cold and void of emotion. Which
I am the man who gave you life.
I tried to I tried to take out all emotion. Diem, never losing her feistiness, replies, "Yes, and I'm the woman who gave you freedom." And he does acknowledge this with an eerie response, saying that's why Diem will be spared in what's to come. Well, what's to come? We don't get an answer. We just get Ofuke sliding off the back of his Gryvern and commanding it to release Diem. Diem is quick to grab her sword and determined to protect the realm's people. Her dad states he sees the three crowns inside Diem and is even able to call them with a hook of his finger. Strange. Then he, of course, wants Diem to work with him, and that would help protect the people, but Diem thinks this is an odd suggestion since all he seems to be doing is killing the people. Diem's dad is angry, for obvious reasons, but Diem can't understand how taking it out on these people will solve anything and even tells him so. Daddy doesn't like being told what to do with his anger and explodes with a roar and power. Then he states, "Fire burns within you, daughter. That can be useful, but even the brightest flame can be extinguished."
Hint the Everflame tree.
Then it looks like he is about to slice Diem's throat open when Durrell and Vexus collide into them, basically signing their death warrant. Ofuke jumps on his Gryvern, seems to heal him, and then springs into the air. The plan was actually working. Ofuke's aura seemed more and more distant, but Diem couldn't waste any time as she rushed back in the city, trying to spare mortals and find her prince. She runs into a mortal she recognizes from her years as a healer and tries to reason with him. But then there's a screech of a Gryvern and all of the mortals' shields flicker and eventually die. She commands the mortals with her Umbros magic to leave and not harm anyone else. But the Sophos guards weren't ready to let them go so easy. Diem is starting to panic and yelling at the guards to let the mortals go and eventually commanding them to do so. Reluctantly, they listen. She turns her attention to healing the wounded and whispering the rite of endings to those who can't be healed, growing ever more concerned about her prince. What would happen to her if something had happened to Luther? Diem begins to be frantic, searching for him everywhere, trying to feel his aura. Slightly before she reaches Hysteria, she finds him and says one of my favorite lines. "Where in the glaciers of hell have you been?" He starts to explain that he was chasing down a mortal when he notices the blade she is holding. She was so distracted she hadn't noticed it was the blade from their visions, a blade that belonged to the kindred, but now it seemed it belonged to Diem. Luther also found a new weapon, or rather reunited with an old friend, as he shows off the sword of Quobois. He hadn't just found his old sword too, he found another old friend, enemy, Vance. Not surprising, Vance was going after children who were too weak to defend themselves. This should have been a death sentence in my books, but Diem still lets him live. But before she commands him to leave and stop fighting for her dad, it is noted that Vance looks at Diem's throat and is confused why Ofake's marked her. I think we should note this for later. Unable to look at the disappointment that is surely on Luther's face, she turns her attention to the sound of the Gryvern, but this time it's Darrell on Vexus. Vexus, exhausted, crashes on the street with Darrell and a woman falling off. The Faunos descended Brian, nowhere to be found. Turns out he was knocked off during battle with Diem's dad. Diem asks if he returned back to Montios, and then sees her dad on his Gryvern in the distance. He lands, wanting to obviously finish the job on Darrell and Vexus, but Diem isn't having it. Standing up to her father and shielding the descended, she asks him to go back to Montios with the mortals, and he is more offended that she called it Montios than he is at her requesting that. The conversation is basically a giant debate on if her dad should kill Diem right then and there, but it ends with a final threat. You've disobeyed me twice, a third time and my protection will end. Then just like that, Diem's dad and his Gryvern are back in the air and gone.
His protection from what?
His wrath.
Right?
Is that it? Just
Unless
his
he's got
protection
a
from himself?
Scar in the earth that he's about to bring other beings from.
What story is it in the Bible where they like have to mark their doors with the blood of the lamb?
Yeah.
And then the
Moses?
angel of death comes through the town?
It's I think it's like in the plagues in Egypt, they mark
Yeah.
their doors with the blood of the lamb, and when the angel goes through, she won't take the firstborn, but if you don't have it marked, then your firstborn died.
I feel like this is what he's doing, but with his 10-star mark.
But he's putting it on corpses.
Oh, he is?
Is
No,
that
I think he
wrong?
marked all of those who were fighting for him, and when Diem healed that guy, it vanished. I don't think it's still on the corpses, unless he's going to raise the dead.
I don't know.
I thought in the chapters that I did before these that the corpses they were finding had the 10-point star carved into them.
I thought that was just they died fighting for him, though.
Yeah.
I didn't
I think
think-
they had it while they were fighting.
Then
but they
I just-
died, and
yeah.
that was like evidence.
I got it mixed up because I thought he was killing people and then going around and carving the 10-pointed star into them.
Maybe it's still kind of what you're thinking, though. But like, if they already had it, maybe he can still raise them from the dead. I'm on this.
That's
train
going to
now.
add another element to this book that I'm not prepared for.
No, I'm here. I'm here for it.
It's too much. It's too much. Maybe. I thought he was just marking his people that have his protection from his wrath.
It would
Yeah.
make sense if he's marking them like that, so that way his magic doesn't hurt them. Kind of like
Mhm.
how the Gryvern magic doesn't hurt Diem and stuff
Yeah.
like that. That would make sense.
That's kind of like the
get
dragon
it.
fire doesn't affect her later on.
yeah.
I think it's the same thing.
okay.
But we are kind of not talking about the most important thing that happens in this chapter.
Yes.
And why doesn't Diem kill Vance?
I don't know, but Vance needs to die. I'm sorry. You can be mad at me. You can call me heartless. He has
it's
had
not
way
heartless,
too many
though.
chances.
Yeah. At this point, it's just Diem being weak, honestly. I think it truly is because he went after children. Like, that's crossing a line that even some of the most brutal soldiers won't cross.
Mhm.
So I feel like him going after kids, that's enough to be killed. It's fine, Diem. Nobody, most descended alike would not hold that over your head.
I wonder if he was going to kill them or if he was kidnapping them like the rest of them.
Pretty sure when it is in Luther's eyes, it's very evident that he was going to kill them. Pretty sure he's like, I'm going to slaughter these children.
Yeah.
Get out of my way.
I understand that that's how Luther saw it. I'm just wondering if
No,
We
I think
all
he
think-
says that. I think he is literally like, get out of my way. I'm going to kill these kids.
yes, but also Vance is supposed to be this big bad guy, and we all think he's going to have a story. So I'm just wondering if he's the one that's taking all the kids. I don't know what he's doing with them, brainwashing him, most likely, if that's what's happening.
You're saying that's his redeeming quality that that everyone's overlooking?
I'm not saying it's redeeming in the least. I'm saying I wonder if that's his thing that he's doing in the Guardians.
Yeah.
But what's
like
worse,
with this guy.
killing them in the school or taking them to be abused elsewhere?
I'm
And
not
brainwashing
saying.
them
I'm
for
just
the same
saying
cause? Yeah.
that he, although he did say that, it might not be what he was doing.
It's indoctrinating them
Yeah.
into. It's just.
I think whether
pisses
he's
me
killing
off.
them or kidnapping him, he probably should have died here.
Yes.
I think that DM should have killed him. I don't know why she can't make herself do that. I also get the point that there are going to have to be some giant forgivenesses given
Mhm.
if she wants her peace to be in the land, and that she has definitely taken it upon herself to forgive the baddest of the bad. We saw that when she didn't kill the guy in the pit during her coronation fight or whatever it's called. What's it? The challenging.
But yet she can't really forgive herself, and I can't really see her being a great leader of people if she keeps tally of every death that is on her hands. She does it to the point where it's a hindrance, not to the point of where it's, okay, good, you still understand the effect that your leadership has on people. She's like, literally like, there's another life on my hands.
I mean, yeah, that's how the book starts out, is her saying, I wonder what would have happened if I would have just ignored all the signs and like continued to live in this blissful bubble created around me.
Yeah.
Like, how many lives would have been spared had I not stepped up and taken this, like, my right as whatever she is.
The Forgotten.
Yes.
Daughter of the Forgotten.
Daughter.
That's how the book starts out, is her regretting the lives lost already.
I think
So-
she's just so terrified of that vision and that she's blaming herself for what she thinks is to come when it could have been showing her father.
Well-
Like, the reason why there's a circle of death around her is really not just her destroying the world. It's what will happen if she follows in his path. Or
But
if
she
She
leaves
does
him.
explain feeling a void and even caving into it when she sees her dad again at this point. And it's at the
Yes.
end of this chapter. So I think that could be foreshadowing that she's going to have an internal battle later
Mhm.
of, do I give in to this bliss of no feeling, or do I keep on feeling?
I
And
agree.
she says her only tether right now is Luther.
Yeah.
And if you were to take Luther, you take away her tether, you
Mm.
untie. Did you guys ever play tetherball in elementary?
Yeah.
I was so bad at it.
I'm pretty sure I got hit in the face a couple times,
I'm-
man. Kids would just
Oh,
slap
yeah.
that thing. I wonder if we went to a schoolyard right now, one, if there'd even be, is tetherball around?
I
think
think
they
they took
do.
them off of
Yeah.
the cords while we were still in
Well,
elementary era.
I do remember sometimes we get it taken away. So
Mm.
sometimes they take the balls off and they're like, elementary or recess today, no tetherball because you guys are
Listen,
absolutely insane.
Kids don't even know the pain of the wooden chips or the gravel. Like, it was all just tar for them,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is hot in like the summers. But dude, that gravel falling on it, scraping your knee, elbow, whatever.
Or you'd
that
take your
shit
shoe off and
hurt.
just like let it.
Yeah.
And it had a specific
Yes.
smell. If you were to put a handful of that gravel in front of me right now, it'd
Oh,
take me
yeah.
back to sweaty children and tetherball. Anyways, that has nothing to do with the
No.
book, but yeah, Luther is her tether, and that's not good if he goes. All right, chapter 69.
Let's do it.
Everybody loves the
Let
69.
go.
Mhm. After making sure Teller was okay, Diem goes with Darrell to survey the city's damage. Darrell is thanking Diem for saving their city and saying they will recall the army soldiers from Umbros. Diem says she will stay until they arrive in case her dad comes back. Diem comments on how she was wrong about Sophos. There are not many places in Amerion where mortals and descended would fight for each other, and goes even further to say she no longer believes they are slaughtering mortals. Darrell says he must admit he's wrong about Diem too, and that they have already sent a messenger hawk to the other crowns to try to complete Diem's coronation and a chance for her to make her case. Liar! But Darrell only says they'll vote yes on letting Diem back in if she answers one question truthfully. AKA, Darrell has put together that Diem holds 3 crowns and just wants that confirmed. Diem confirms it, and Darrell instantly goes into trying to understand how Diem stole the crowns. Then Luther is like, stole? No, Diem was given the crowns. Then Luther turns everything around on Durrell and asks if they have every word of scripture memorized, then they can answer if the kindred commanded the crowns to exile the mortals or protect them. Durrell is obviously offended at Luther's accusations, but Diem eases the tension. Durrell changes the subject, saying they will call for the ritual to be held in 2 days and requests that Diem works with her mom to make sure they can get to Continental. Diem lies but can't trust Durrell with the plan they made with her mom. Then Diem asks about the lost realms and the mark on her neck. Durrell obviously doesn't want to talk about this, but offers up what information they have. There was a 10th kindred. Shocker. He was the youngest. His realm was between Sophos and Montios. He died a few years after the original forging. More lies. He didn't have any offspring to inherit the land, so then the kindred tore down his portal, tried to kill his Gwyvern, and allocated the land to Montios. Then Durrell accuses Diem of coming from the 10th kindred, and Diem is like, me? No way, not me. Durrell, having the patience of a saint, is like, Ofake thinks you did, and he had the 10th crown and its Gwyvern, and that star was the same symbol from his portal at the temple. Diem asks if the 10th kindred had a name, and when Durrell answers with Omnos, Diem's godhood immediately awakens with recognition. Then Diem asks if Durrell knows how Omnos died. Durrell tries to lie, but then says they have a theory. The kindred are referenced making a great personal sacrifice to protect the mortals after the forging. They think Omnos was that sacrifice. Durrell's theories for why is because Omnos didn't have a mortal lover and could have lived forever, and the fact that they could steal the other kindred's magic made them almost unstoppable. The only thing they knew about Diem's dad being locked up was a note that said to not open the door on the island that entrapped them, that dated back to just after the Blood War. The only 2 crowns around then were Montios and Umbros. Diem's dad had been stuck down there for not years, but centuries. Finishing walking the city, Luther and Durrell work together to fortify the city, while Diem is lost in thought about the familiarity of the name Omnos, like it owned her. Breaking from her thoughts, a familiar voice called out to Diem. Good old Stuart Little. Diem thanks him for what they did in the battle. Stuart blushes and is head over heels for Diem, which protective Luther doesn't like, but Diem doesn't mind. Stuart is then commanded to take Diem's sword back to the archives. Reluctantly, Diem hands over her sword and is then quickly requested to help with treating the people with godstone wounds. She works on her concoction as Sophos descendants watch her and take notes, getting distracted by Luther out of the corner of her eye. She tries to recall everything she did when treating Taryn and Luther, and the only difference was the one time she cut her palm. Her blood.
What?
Finally, Diem puts this together and secretly puts some of her blood in one of the concoctions with only Luther seeing. She leaves the Sophos descended and tells them to give it a try. Then finally, she is alone with Luther, who is flirting hard with Diem. He asks if she wants to go to dinner with Durrell. She knows she should, but she says no. Luther replies with, good.
Little jealous, ain't he?
I really wish this would have been the chapter where they finally hooked up, because it's the
Yeah.
69th chapter.
Would have
I
been
know.
nice.
That'd
It would have been
great.
just perfect.
Perfection.
But it's not
Missed
the way.
opportunities.
It's not the
Maybe
way
you
it
should have
worked
paced
out.
that a little bit differently.
Yeah. Okay, lots of history
Maybe this
here.
is just the foreplay.
This is the foreplay.
Yeah.
Not maybe.
leading
I mean, it
into-
is.
Leading into when we finally get their hookup.
Yeah.
Mhm.
These couple chapters are definitely that.
It's a long amount of foreplay.
It's a crazy amount.
He wants her satisfied.
Well, DM has a lot of patience because I wouldn't.
You would have lost interest by
It's
this
a
point.
lot, not lost interest.
I'd
I
have been
would have
like,
been
"Now?"
so impatient. Like, let's go.
We've waited long enough. So there's lots of history here.
Yeah.
Any thought on him being the sacrifice for the mortals, or did you learn anything new here?
I don't know.
Just makes me angry.
I
for
do
some
think
reason.
that makes sense, but I think that the sacrifice that they made on behalf of the mortals was the Everflame tree.
That's what we're
Like,
told
it
from the
got
history.
cut down.
How would that be a sacrifice for the mortals? So I feel like that's a sacrifice for the descended. To cut down the Everflame.
We're
Everflame
saying
tree?
things flipped. We're saying things flipped. So you're saying that the descended gave the mortals Omnos and like we're gonna kill him as a sacrifice to show we want balance with you or whatever. Okay,
I think
I
that's
get
what
it.
I think that's what Durrell is inferring. But do you believe that?
That's tough. I honestly think that the kindred couldn't control him and he didn't want to find love on the new found planet that they're on. And they're like, okay, well, the only thing we can do is kill you or lock you away.
Yeah.
I think it's a disguised sacrifice. I don't know if it's a true sacrifice.
Them rewriting
agree.
history.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
And only what they've read.
Yeah, it's not even like the full, like you said, the history or the background of like why they chose to do this.
So
We're just now finding out about him.
So no, I probably don't think it was a true sacrifice in the sense of the word. I think that it's a cover story.
Yeah, a cover story. I like that.
Do you?
No, I think that's just what they've been told. It
Yeah.
is interesting that two of the current descendants, well, they're about to die and dead, were there when he was locked up. So what did their ancestors do?
Yeah. How do we not have more information? Like the Montios King left a note for Diem and he can't just put that in there. Like, by the way, there's a 10th kindred and here's what happened. I was there, just so you know, just so you have this little piece of information to help you along the way. And Umbros Queen, she apologizes and says, like, that's on me.
Yeah, I should have told
Like,
you more.
Father Umbros told me I needed to tell you right away, and I wasn't, but I wanted to test things. I wanted to do it my way, and I messed up.
Was the blood war just a fight over Diem's dad? Because it's weird that he wasn't locked up before that. So was the whole point of the blood war to lock him up?
I don't know. I don't know if he like cut down the Everflame tree and like went bonkers, and they're like, we gotta do something here.
Like he was allowed to live up until that point if he just kept to himself. But then when he like took a chainsaw to the tree, they were like, okay, we gotta handle this man.
There has to have been an incident that happened where the kindred were like, he can't have a realm and he has to be erased from history.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was.
Because even knowing him is too dangerous for history.
Yeah, we can't even know his name. Like, he goes by a different name. If it is, even now, he has a different name. Like, he gave Diem's mom a different name than Omnos.
Oh, yes.
So.
And the first time I read it, I thought, and it had been too long, so this was a recap for me, but like, I thought Omnos was the place, not the name of the individual, until Doril is giving the history lesson. So I thought when they were talking about his land on Montios or whatever, I thought that's the region they were talking about. That was the forgotten land.
That is the truth.
Oh, it is? So we're not
just like all of them, they're all named after the land, the realm that they have.
So why?
But he has a real name too, just like Sophos is also Doriel.
Do you
so
think
confusing.
that the Umbros Queen had to wipe all of Ophakai's memories completely? Like, do you think that that's why she warned Diem so hard against it, is because she was supposed to have wiped everything from him and she knows like the pain in that?
Well, she would have left some because he knew he was locked up.
Well, like, is he, though, after he was like stabbed in the heart and like killed, maybe gaining a new consciousness, he got his memories back or something?
But she said that was undoable. Like, once you do it, there's no way to get it back.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any chance. If she would have erased it, that would have held true.
Unless you have Sophos' power and all of that magic comes back.
Which memory. He probably does. If Diem
I mean, he's healing the Gryvern, and
yeah.
Diem is like, we haven't seen him use the other realm's magic yet. But then we do get a couple times pointed out where it does appear that he's using the other realm's magic as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, I think he is. I think he does have access to all the magic still.
Which is weird, even though Diem holds the crowns.
Well, I think her holding the crown has more significance than his one crown. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I think it's the old gods and the kindred working together.
It's all for one.
She could use the other powers before she had the crown, and she still can use the other. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm like confusing myself.
No, this is a very confusing
This
ending.
history is confusing because we're still getting like snippets. And it's
Yes.
not even, we're still putting things together with the little bit of like trail mix we're getting throughout the.
And the blood war is mentioned 100 times, but it's never given to us what it. I mean,
No.
it's obviously a war over blood, but like, whose blood? Why the blood? Who's got the blood? Who wants the blood?
And why
Who
is
needs the
it-
blood?
Got blood.
It's never
Who's donating the blood?
like, obviously the gods, in this sense, the kindred's power of their blood is so significant. But like you said, it's never distinguished why it's maybe just his that they focus on as far as like locking him up and tying him by his blood.
Too much blood for me. So I'm going to jump into chapter
Please do.
70.
All right.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
DM asks Luther where they are going, and Luther's only reply is Pleasure Town. Just kidding, but she does ask him where they are going, and Luther says he's arranged a private dinner.
So romantic.
Meeting with Teller to grab their things and wash up, DM is taken back by the community living and has to admit she is impressed. Mortals and Descended are mingling. Teller says this is to encourage learning, so most nights there are events like drinking together, theater, etc. DM loves to see it, but also recognizes there is work to be done. Like most other realms, even here, there are things mortals are permitted to learn as it is deemed dangerous by the crowns. Not to mention that most mortals don't have access to education to even get here in the first place. And even this place has had a seedy underbelly like other realms. Nonetheless, DM knows she has her work cut out for her if she wants to convince Teller to come home. And tells him so as they sit in his room. He tries to tell DM that he won't be going home whether it's her or their mom trying to convince him. DM, being the wise older sister, knows it's love that will ultimately convince him, but Teller denies this too, saying Lily is better off without him. At this, Luther agrees, stating if he isn't willing to fight to the death for Lily, then she does deserve better than Teller. Teller leaves DM and Luther alone and asks that they don't defile his room too much. Once Teller is gone, DM accuses Luther of being an ass in front of Teller, but Luther's just like, Teller needs to see exactly what it looks like when a man loves a woman unconditionally and won't be torn away from her by any force in life or in death. DM knows exactly what Luther is hinting at, the promises of a descended mating ceremony. Luther isn't going to outright ask her, but he can hint at it as much as he wants. DM changes the subject and says she's going to wash up. Why, DM, do you run from everything? Luther accuses her of being mad at him, and she brings up him abandoning her at battle. He asks her to show him what happened, and she does. Feeling vulnerable, she starts to pull back, but then Luther offers for her to see what it was like through his eyes, so she jumps into his mind. And man, is this guy obsessed with DM. It's mid-battle, and he's just sitting there admiring DM. The use of her magic, the sword, her love for her people. And basically the rest of this section of this chapter is him just drooling over DM and, of course, chasing down Vance. As a reminder, Vance was found trying to kill descended children and their teacher. Now snap back to DM. DM realized Luther did not, in fact, abandon her and can't believe this man loves her so entirely. She also can't believe she loves him so entirely. But that's what is so exhausting. It constantly feels like the one thing that brings her joy is being dangled off a cliff. Luther reminds her that if that's the case, then he would grow wings and learn to fly just to get back to her. He would never stop finding her. She rubs the golden medallion near her belly button, or I assume that's where it is, and the drop of power Luther imbued in it buzzes at her touch. Luther then does the unthinkable and possibly the biggest green flag in this book. He basically says, "You now know how I see you, but let me show you how amazing you are with your own eyes." Then takes her to a mirror so she can admire herself. Yes, and for the first time all book, I think DM actually starts to believe in herself.
He goes,
Finally.
"Do you see the woman I love?"
Yeah.
That's what he says. It's so precious.
It's I would say 95% of the time easier to love someone else than yourself.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think
the
that's
hardest part
why
of life. It's learning to love parts of yourself.
Yeah. So that's why I really like this part. I also think, since it ends with the belly button medallion, I think that might come into play later. That small little piece of magic that she never parts with, she never isn't wearing. Okay, let's say it's not by her belly button, it's closer to her heart, because I don't think that's going to do much for her, but maybe that saves her at some point.
I think you're right.
I like that.
I think it's going to be like the Gryvern fire that just and saves her.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to point out that the teacher of the half-mortal children that Vance goes to like take or kill or whatever, she's immortal.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that's fine. She's immortal or
She's a
half-breed
sympathizer.
lover or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she proceeds to beat the absolute shit out of him, which is
she's
great.
like, you're going after the children, and a kick
You're
and a punch
sick.
and a kick and a punch.
And she kicks him in the balls several
Yeah.
times. That
I
man
like her.
will not have any kids.
She's my second favorite character of the group or of the book. I also like that. Well, not like. I don't know how to put this, but it just hints at the Sophos mortals like being addicted to basically Adderall, and it just goes like, that's so relatable to modern day of college students taking Adderall to keep up with school and stuff, and to just kind of put that in there. Obviously, she doesn't say, and then they're going to the underbelly for Adderall, but it's the equivalent. How she explains it is these mortals trying to keep up with these descended minds is willing to do whatever it takes, which probably still isn't enough if you're going up against people that have the memorization power.
Unless you're Teller.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, yeah, because at that point, it's like what you're requiring of them is they cannot maintain on their own.
Right.
Like their body and mind will give out.
The ending of this chapter, though, I forgive Luther for anything bad he's ever done.
Oh, yeah.
wrong. It's forgiven in my books, and we're moving on.
He's such a good guy.
It's forgiven in these books and therefore forgiven in mine.
and a great
Yeah.
partner.
What?
And a great partner.
An amazing partner. This is
Like-
what you want. You want someone that's open and honest, even though DM's not being totally open and honest. But she's starting to open that heart of hers that's been closed off for so long. Probably because everyone in her life ever has lied to her and let her down, besides maybe Teller.
Yeah, Teller.
Maybe. So
Teller even was like, Henry's not for you in
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah. I
Like,
hate
Teller
him.
is true.
siblings always know.
Yeah.
They know.
They really do.
I just love Luther so much.
Do you love Lamp?
I love Lamp.
Do you really love Lamp, or are you just saying that?
I love Lamp.
Okay. Chapter 71?
Chapter 71.
Sure.
I mean, how? How do I always get these chapters? I'm not complaining, but it's just truly just how.
This was so long.
And how do I specifically recap this one where nothing really happens, but everything does all at once? I'll put it this way. Diem and Luther move to a shower room that I can only imagine as a high-end spa. Diem asks if she can have this shower room built back in Lumnos, and Luther explains that all these inventions are kept in Sophos except the rare few that are gifted. Not surprising, they're selfish. Then Luther helps Diem undress, and then she helps him undress. And as the reader, you're 100% positive they're about to go to Pound Town. But they don't. They touch, they feel, the shampoo, condition, but they do not seal the deal. Instead, they spend the time admiring each other, scars and all. And finally, even Diem thinks it's about to happen, but Luther tells her to get dressed instead, and the chapter ends. So
they do take the time to like nurture each other after
Yes.
what they've just
I
been
said
through.
shampoo and condition.
You did.
Okay.
You did. Just, it is a good healing moment for them after they've laid themselves raw,
Yeah.
literally mind to mind, both of them, and like experienced each other's traumas, and now they're recovering.
Sure.
So they could have recovered.
But you could still nurture and nourish each other even after
Yeah.
exhausting each
You
other.
know, all I was
For
gonna
a
say
while.
is Penn Cole, you sure do know how to drag this out. Cruel, but I also understand because
Yep.
everyone loves that. When they finally get together, it's you kind of lose the thrill of the chase.
Yeah.
So the only things I have to talk about this are the spa shower. Is that how you picture this? Or do you just picture like a normal shower and she's just like, because she doesn't have this invention, she's so taken back by it?
No, I think it's like a whole room because Luther says, I ask what amount of money they would do to like make it in
Yeah.
Lumnos, and they said none. And
Yeah.
I think it's extravagant.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm picturing only baths back at Lumnos too. Maybe no showers, no working plumbing. I don't know. It never talks about them going to the bathroom or showering.
I think
bathing.
maybe
No, no
Mortal
baths.
City is like that. I
Yeah.
think Lumnos has working plumbing.
I think
Yeah.
it talks about her bath in her room, though, when she
Yeah,
is
it's in
with
the I picture
Eleanor?
it like at the edge of her bed. Like I picture the bath is in the room with
Oh,
her.
like old school.
Yeah, like I picture
Like, here's the little tub. Get inside
Yeah,
the
They
bucket.
bring it in.
no, it's
Then they
there
take it out.
constantly.
Oh, okay.
It's just like in the corner because that's how rooms used to be set up. Is you get
Okay.
a tub in the corner, closet over there, bed in the middle. And I think, actually, I was gonna say this. There is a series that I've read, and the whole 2 books that are out of this series, it is bath, 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 and then like right before they're gonna hook up, there's one line where she is literally about to say, "And I was gonna shower," and I'm like, shower? This whole series, there hasn't been a shower mentioned. They're soaking in a soaker tub, and then all of a sudden there's
Yeah.
a shower. I can appreciate that she's so amazed by the shower, and it's never been mentioned about a shower. So I just wanted to say that it's a little pet peeve of mine. And you know what? I bet a shower after a battle does feel so
yeah.
good.
Well, yeah.
Deep in the muscles, and you got someone massaging you too.
For
Well,
sure.
and they haven't really stopped anywhere for long because even in Machios, they were like kind of on the run, sleeping outside.
they
And then
stanky.
after the council meeting, they left. In a
Maybe
hurry.
that's why, like, maybe Luther had no deeper meaning for them to, like, shower together and,
The
like, hold off
crime.
hooking up other than, like, dear God, we smell like rotting carcasses.
Like, girl, before we
Yeah.
do something romantic, we gotta get clean.
If I'm gonna go down on you and you going to go down on me, let's just at least
Let's scrub that area.
yeah, let's get clean. Okay, moving on to chapter 72. It was now nighttime in Sophos, and the city was coming alive with light pollution and the newfound appreciation for each other for helping protect the city. Diem had no clue where they were headed. Well, until they ran into Stuart Little. Stuart helped set up the surprise at the library. The library? Not sure what's at the library, but we do know Diem will be getting punished by Luther, but you know, in the good way. On the steps of the library, one of Durrell's attendants waited with the key to let Luther and Diem in and a small pouch that Luther wouldn't let Diem see. I wonder what it is. Then Luther sponge. Then Luther
He
covers.
pretty much was.
Yeah,
in the last chapter.
He went from Luther sponge to Luther, I don't know, grunge? But I don't know what else rhymes with sponge other than grunge. Then Luther covers Diem's with his shadows so she can't see, and they enter. In the reading room, Luther starts making some moves, and Diem can't decide if she hopes the room is empty or if she doesn't mind an audience. But when Luther pulls back his shadows, she sees they are completely alone. Durrell had closed the library due to damage from dragonfire until someone confirms it's safe. Diem and Luther were the someones. They had the library all to themselves until the next morning. Diem was lost in thought of being able to read these books that have been blocked from mortals for centuries. And remember, kids, she need only look at a page and she will remember its contents forever. Further in the library, Luther brought her to a door in the form of an enormous tree that said, "Crown access only." The Everflame tree. It says, thousands of glittering red and yellow gemstones set into the metal, faintly pulsed with a subtle glow. Luther tells Diem that it's believed the place was lit with embers from the undying fire gifted by the old gods. Luther likes the idea that there is still a place to pay his respects to the old gods, and despite his loyalty to the kindred, he understands that the old gods and kindred will have to coexist in their new world if there is to be balance. The word balance echoes through Diem's ear in a voice both foreign and ancient. I wonder if it kind of sounds like a tree or a redhead man. The tree glows brighter when Diem touches it, but nothing happens when Luther does. They enter, and Diem is met with even more books, the ones banned by the First Crowns, and a strikingly similar mural of the Everflame tree and the old mortal temple. The flames were flecked with veins of silver leaf, and a man with vivid red hair leaned casually at the foot of its trunk, chin tipped down and face obscured. Grandpapa? Oh man, did Diem love this surprise and her man. She no longer had any reservations about their future. She unequivocally loved Luther. They crashed into each other, and Bow Chicka Wow Wow played on the loudspeaker as they finally sealed the deal.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
But of course, not without mentioning a freaking contraceptive tonic. Can't forget that. No babies for them. Then after the most steamy scene of the entire book, Luther brings Diem a cup of tea so she can get to reading. Not sure how she was able to focus, but she does. And so she reads and reads with minor sex breaks in between until she can't keep her eyes open and falls asleep to the dreams of their future together.
I kind of wonder if it's because not a lot of people enjoy the pregnancy trope and they try to make it more of like an empowering of women using the tonic and choice versus like, oh, they're constantly having sex on the page, but there's no mention of a pregnancy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm just like,
I know you don't like it always being
I
mentioned,
would
and I
just
get it
as-
doesn't need to always be mentioned, but
I would just assume that, like, that could just be another theory that people run with. I don't know. In this book, does the contraceptive tonic work 100% of the time? Because then you
it's
could
gonna be
still
like,
say she gets pregnant.
yeah, no, it's gonna be I think like old
Yeah, like 90,
times, yeah, like
90%.
where you just medicinally hear some herbs and
Yeah.
hope it works.
Here's green tea. Hope it works.
I
Fingers
think it's
crossed.
supposed to be it works every time, and the guy takes it. So I think
Yeah.
that that's
That
like
is kind of cool.
why,
Yeah.
sort of why it's mentioned is to just show.
I'm not
like,
saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it just isn't needed for me.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
might be
it's
other
like,
readers that are glad. They're like, I can't wait for the contraceptive mention.
No, I
But-
think it's just a little detail that people put in so that way you know that there's not going to be a baby. Because
Until they're ready, I guess, in that sense.
a lot of, yeah. I mean, DM has talked a lot about not being comfortable and blah, blah, blah. And then they're not going to do the whole family thing yet. And so it's just in there to let you know that their story isn't coming to an end. Because usually when the baby is there, their love story is over and we move on.
Oh, yeah. A baby in a fantasy book is a death sentence to those characters.
Well, it's usually like the final glimpse you get at the end of the series. So
Yeah.
maybe in
Final
book 4.
countdown. Dun-dun-dun. Well, maybe there will be some babies in book 4 if DM lives to even see that.
She's going to. There's going to be a spark that comes and renews everything.
A spark that creates a glow.
All I
That
can
emits
think
heat.
of when they mention the Everflame tree in the Old Gods is basically like the werewoods in A Song of Ice and Fire, like the bleeding, eyes, the old gods that they prayed to. And I'm just like, this is exactly like kind of what I picture, but they have been burned or forgotten. And so now it's like they want to reclaim the soil, they want to reclaim their land, but there has to be balance in the world.
Yeah. Well, and this is my theory that I have from this chapter, and I think I briefly mentioned it last episode, is the word balance, when it echoes through DM's ear, it's in a voice that's both foreign and ancient. And I do think whatever the old gods are, that is what's whispering in her ear. And I think sometimes when she feels a calling to use her godhood, it's either the kindred or it's the Everflame tree. And I do think they're kind of like working together to restore the balance in this realm, this world, the Marion. So I do think that that's what's at play here. That is my newest theory, I guess you could say.
No, I think you're right.
I think that makes sense for sure. I get confused as to why the Ophikai has it seemingly exactly the same powers as DM if it's part of the Everflame power or the old gods helping or granting balance or like whatever. I'm a little frustrated in that area. I would like more information.
Well,
I expect that their lineage, because they were willing to give their bloodline for descended and like basically dilute their line, I expect him to be the most powerful. But yeah, like we don't have any explanation of why he has all this surrounding power.
and I would say that who's to say she hasn't exhibited some signs of more power than him, because we haven't seen enough of his
Yeah,
power.
that's
No.
true. It's just that it's talking about her blood calling to his, and before I was thinking that maybe her blood had like the Everflame power in it. But if it's the same as his, then it's probably just equated to the kindred power. So I don't know.
I think the
I see
difference
my
is-
theories shattering around me, and I'm getting defensive and upset.
I
Oh,
think
no.
that the difference is
Good.
is the whatever power she has from the Everflame tree or being a part of that bloodline is she's going to have the power to stop him.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. Whatever that looks like.
Or maybe he decides to choose love and him and Arlie run off into the sunset
Sorry.
together.
Yeah, and Andre they go and spit on his grave.
Whoa, I didn't say
Ooh.
that.
Sounds like you have a new theory forming, F. Andre.
No, I didn't say that.
I
You
know.
can love after love, though.
Yeah, yet you didn't want to love
I
after
don't
love in
think
the
that
time
I
travel.
didn't say I
relationship-
can love after love. I said people can.
I don't
Yeah.
think that relationship was love. I think that was the point. I think it was primarily used for his benefit
And her loneliness.
and her loneliness and
Andre or the
no.
okay.
Her birth
Ophakai.
father.
Oh
Ophakai.
yeah, no, I think
Ophiakai.
that was a hit it and quit it for him, and then for her it was I'm vulnerable and
yeah.
I'm alone on this island talking to grass. So somebody save me.
for a full fucking year.
Yeah, I can't imagine. We talked about a silence a retreat a couple episodes ago. That
Mhm.
an island by myself, 5 days max, maybe. That's all I got. And then
I
that's
mean
it.
I mean those flowers
Yeah.
till they poison me.
Yeah. I'm doing whatever it takes to no longer be by myself with my own thoughts.
Dude,
Okay.
that guy was trapped down there for so long too.
Centuries? Yeah. I can't.
Mhm.
And the Umbros Queen and Montios King knew it. And they let it happen.
How did they describe? It was in my chapters. How did she describe how she found him? He wasn't. It was like when she was saying that, like, he hadn't seen obviously sun in quite a while, but she didn't
She
describe
said
him as sickly. She
his
described him
gray.
as gray.
He was just totally gray. And he was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's because I live off of rats and
Yeah.
Yeah.
rippings
Which
of
is a
water.
believable story. If you told me you
Maybe-
lived off rats and rainwater and your skin was gray, I'd be like, that kind of checks out. Like,
So
I'm not.
maybe he's rot. Maybe he's decay, and that's why he burns. That's why he feeds off of things that can entrap. Like,
Does
in
he
his-
burn?
I don't
He's
know.
immortal.
But I'm
That's
just
why he didn't
wondering if,
die.
like, that's why, like, sucking out his power was, like, showing that, like, he's not. I don't know. You know
the
what?
Fortos
Doesn't
King,
matter.
The Fortos King had rot though. So like he
He
does
did.
have that ability.
He did. You're right. I'd
The
forgot
gray
about that.
skin, though, could just be lack of sunlight, darkness, exposure.
Could be
Or
because
just
he's
showing
not
that he's not human.
he's not human.
Yeah.
I don't know what pollution is in the sky for the rainwater. I mean, we could go down a rabbit hole.
He's just not human.
Yeah.
Everything about him's gray.
Chapter 73. 36 hours later, and I said that because I was just getting confused with how long it's been, but I know it's been 2 full days. So Diem is up reading even more until they come get her to take her to Cottonelle, and Luther even has to force her to eat. As she does, Luther expresses his concern that Darrell hadn't come to check on them. Strange, but let's ignore it because nothing bad could happen from that. But weird that they've been going at it in the library for 2 days, and the only interruption has been from his attendants to grab some books for him and stating they could stay for another day, so extending this little staycation. But no matter the reason for being left alone, Diem is thankful for the short time of bliss, and we as readers are too. And she is even coming out of it with an idea of how to govern Lumnos, a council that would be half mortals and half descended, with her as a tie vote. And with the council governing her 3 realms, she would have time to track down her father and kill him, even though she doesn't want to. But enough about thinking about killing her father. Let's go back to the idea of Luther and her's future. Diem talks about building a home near where she grew up, and even maybe one day throwing that contraceptive tonic out and growing their family. Luther is taken back by this suggestion. So much so, he cuts his own chest on accident with the knife they used for eating the apples. I don't.
Is that what it was, or was Mother Lumnos talking to him in that point?
You know what? We don't know.
We don't have that
Because
knowledge.
before Diem or Luther could say too much, Darrell's attendants have to come to take Diem to the dock to go to the coronation. And they are firm on that Luther is not to come. Oh, and there should be no concern for the delay for the Umbros soldiers arriving. Diem doesn't want to upset Darrell, so she lets Luther accompany her to the docks, but not on the boat. She says her goodbyes to Luther, and she is off to the island. On the boat, Diem does yet another bonded bargain, but this time with Darrell. It's also noted that the dagger they use takes her right back to her father's murder. Darrell explains it was a gift from King Ulthar, but Darrell wasn't there at her ball. Their representatives were, and even stayed later at the request of House Benet. Beignet. But this realization will have to wait. So back to the bonded bargain. The terms, Darrell vowed to do everything to convince the Moros King to vote for a pardon for Diem and her mother, and will recommend the other crowns to do the same. And Diem vowed she had nothing to do with the attack on the island or Sophos, and she will kill the man who led the attacks.
Not whatever the fuck his name is. Not him. The man. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. No fine print here.
Nope.
She does. Their fates are sealed, and nothing bad could come from this.
That bonded bargain gets under my skin so much because what the fuck is Sophos even bargaining? Like they bargain nothing.
I guess the only thing they bargain is I'll try my hardest.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
Get you
bullshit.
guys pardoned.
And
Yeah.
Diem's like, all right, that's all I got. That's all you can give me. Like, no.
This is her third bargain?
Bargain the safety of the people in their realm that you love. Bargain that he's not going to do anything to Luther, who literally is in a trap right now. You
No.
have to know that.
Truthfully, if you've read enough fantasy books, then you know at this point to never enter a bargain. Period at the end, exclamation point. There's don't, unless your lawyer is there to read it,
Yes.
the fine print.
Yes.
And then they have a lawyer that reads and checks that. And then there's a third lawyer. Then you can enter it. But even then, it's a risk.
I think she's cocky because the first one went in her favor so well against Remus.
Yeah. No, that's 100% why
Like,
she's like totally cool with
She's
this.
like, I got this. I've
She's
got
like,
nothing to worry about.
I can't see a thing that would go wrong here.
We all see that it's going to be Henry. She's going to have to kill Henry.
Oh, I was going to say it's Vance, but yeah.
I
no.
think it's Henry.
I don't think she'll have a problem killing Vance when it's forced upon her.
No.
I
It's
think
her mom.
But
that
it says
led the
the
attack on
man.
the island?
It says the man. So I think that
Oh.
I thought about that
Or-
too. I was like, is it going to be that? But then I thought about Lord of the Rings in the movie where the girl's like, I'm no man.
Yeah.
So then I was like, no. It can't be that.
Yeah,
She's
no.
a woman. It's the man that led it, and I think it's got to be Henry. Unless they're going to flip things around and somehow say that Luther was the one in charge of everything.
No, I think it's either Vance or Henry or her dad. I think those are the only three men at play.
Well, I don't think he wasn't released yet, so he couldn't have led the attack.
But the blade was given as a gift at the ball.
Oh, are we going to the...
Oh, okay.
We're
Yeah,
jumping.
Sure.
No. Are we jumping?
Yeah,
We can talk about the blade that
we
killed.
can go to that.
Well, I thought they led hand in hand. Because
With what?
aren't we looking at the blade as part of the weapon that was used against her father?
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with the bargain.
I thought we were jumping back to her. Who
No,
killed
we
her
were
dad.
specifically talking about the bargain she said and that she would kill the man who led the attack.
Not
Okay,
Andre.
forgive me.
Not
I
Andre.
thought we were still talking about her dad and like how that was leading to back to her seeing the blade given from Sophos.
Oh, we were talking bio father, not adoptive. But we can jump
Just
to
ignore
that.
me.
No,
No.
because
I
that's
want
the
Just
other.
ignore me.
That's the only other thing to talk about in this chapter. Really,
I want to talk about it.
is
Ugh.
do we have House Benet is who's
That's the one that. If
He's
I'm
the weapon
correct.
armory dude.
Wait, is it?
oh okay,
Mhm.
so nothing to do with ugly face girl,
I thought so too.
No, it's not. That's Hanover.
Oh yeah, you're right.
but it was a gift
That's
to
Valeric.
Arthur. Got it from the
Benet
weapons person.
is the weapons dude.
Is it
Okay.
Eamon's dad? Gareth doing some
No.
shit?
I think that it
wonder.
was stolen.
Wait, yeah, go where you're going. You connect those dots. Go
I'm
ahead.
pretty sure it was
Let's hear it.
stolen, right?
Stolen by
From?
who?
But I don't know. You tell it now.
Well, I was thinking who has handed out and crafted weapons.
That's what I was gonna say.
The guy who said, I don't trust. What's his name? Not Vance, the other one.
I
The one
know-
that gave her the twin blades.
Yes.
It's
He put it in the hands
What's his
of it got in
name?
the hands of the Guardians, and I still think Henry's connected. And
Yeah.
she's trying to think of like what descended. She doesn't
Breck.
even think
His
it's
name's
Breck.
Thank you.
It's a Breck.
I was
yeah.
trying to.
That's what I was
How?
gonna say. Is Breck stole the weapons and then Henry had the dagger and he killed Andre with it because it's a descended weapon and it frames the descended.
There's
And it
something
has the
more to
connection with the
him.
armor.
Yes.
Yep, that's what I thought.
Okay,
All right.
perfect. So we can move on to chapter 74 since we solved 2 of the
Perfection.
biggest
We
theories in this
sleuthed it
entire...
out, guys.
Guys,
We did it. This
And
is
that-
what book club is for.
That's a lesson on teamwork right there because we came together and I can't wait for
Even if
Penn
I
Cole to
jumped.
destroy us and be like,
Yeah.
actually, it was just House Bennett.
It's
Like,
literally-
nothing...
There's nothing there for you to sleuth
Sorry,
out.
I,
It was house spinning.
Had to connect those dots by jumping ahead there, but
No,
I feel
you're
like
good.
we were on the same page
We got there.
at some point.
I think that one of the daggers was described as being House Hanover, like it had something.
Like some jewel to it or
Yeah,
something.
the one that killed her father did have some jewel in it that connected and looked like that. And that's who DM thinks it is the whole time,
Yeah,
right?
but
But
this is starting to make her think
I'm
of other descendants.
Pretty sure it's not other descended, it's
Yes.
only guardians.
Yep.
So, okay.
Chapter 74. The Igneous King and the Faunos Queen are growing impatient as they wait for everyone else to show up for the ritual. Sophos is in hushed whispers with Moros. Bone Marrows. Sophos is in hushed whispers with Maros, and Diem is insisting this must be done today because the Guardians may not let them back in. Diem was unsure if they'd even let them in this time, but they did, and now they looked ready for a fight to break out at any moment. The Arbros Queen finally shows up after an unknown delay while docking, and Diem is saying
There's so much traffic.
Yeah, so much traffic. And Diem is saying she is happy Arbros is safe when Arbros cuts her off. Weird, aren't they fighting on the same side? Igneos begins to accuse Diem again of the first attack on the island and how she might even be planning a second attack, but Darrell vouches for her, saying she swore on a bonded bargain that she had nothing to do with it. The Maros Keen points out that although Diem wasn't involved, her mother was. Everyone exchanges worried glances. Without knowing if the Umbros Queen was even alive to show up, they go ahead and get the ritual started. Diem states the reason for the meeting is to ask for a full pardon for herself and her mother. Jaws drop. The audacity of Diem. The other crowns start listing off her track record, and, well, it's not great. Killed Fortos, freed prisoners, etc. Maros surprisingly can see reason for a lot of what Diem has done, but then asks about her mother, who was definitely guilty of crimes. Diem asks them not to forgive her mother, but to move forward. Move forward with the Guardians and the Mortals to try to pursue peace. Arbros raises a concern how she can even trust the Mortals. I mean, she is harboring the most Guardians out of anyone, and Diem can see the fear on her face.
Is she like leading a faction of
Yeah,
guardians,
basically.
pretty
Yeah.
much?
Yeah, she's like, they're killing all the descended. I'm kind of worried. Diem explains it's not the mortals who have been killing, but a descended man hiding in the forgotten lands of Montios. Diem then says her mom will command the Guardians to help fight alongside the descended and try to kill this man. Darrell confirms how dangerous this descended is from their own experience in battle, even saying they couldn't have survived the battle without Diem. Oh, so this is going well. Igneos is like, well, what makes Diem think she can defeat this guy? Diem reveals this descended man can absorb magics, and so can she. Igneos scoffs and asks Darrell how this is possible. Earlier on the boat, Diem and Darrell agreed to keep the 10th kindred secret, so Darrell just says they aren't sure, but research shows there are only 2 of them alive. Thus, Diem is the only one strong enough to defeat him. Diem's thoughts drift to how the descended haven't pieced together a 10th kindred exists. But then again, that's how they've worked for centuries, destroying history and tweaking it to fit their narrative. Drawn back to the conversation, it's time to vote. Darrell is in favor of pardoning Diem and her mother, so is Morose, but only because they explicitly trust Darrell. Arbros throws a shocker and says no, throwing Diem to the wolves to save her realm. Faunos is a no too. Diem is frantically trying to change everyone's mind when in walks the Umbros Queen. And I couldn't remember her name, so I put mermaid villain name because I call her Ursula. Diem is shocked to see her, and Ursel is obviously still a little ticked off that Diem abandoned her realm, and because of it, her people died. An understandable reason to be mad. Igneo says it doesn't matter what the Umbros Queen votes because it's still not enough. Ursel basically calls them a bunch of dummies and points out Diem's crown. They are all in shock and instantly feel possessive over their magic and crowns. But back to the votes. Diem begs Ursel for hers. Ursel doesn't want to give Diem her vote. She doesn't deserve it. So then Darrell goes to probably what was their plan A. Diem gets locked into Daddy's old cell, and while Diem then starts to panic, Darrell whistles and a bright red flare is shot into the sky. The guardians outside the temple are yelling they've been betrayed. Then 2 Gryverns attack, Boros and Sophos Gryverns to be exact. Diem now realizes her 2 days with Luther in the library had been a distraction. She demands to know what else Sophos has planned. Darrell seems to think they can defeat Diem's dad all on their own after the battle that Diem won for them. But then there is laughter from your cell. She hadn't cast her vote, and Darrell showed his hand. The Umbros Queen is sad when she tells Diem her future is so much darker now, if there even is one. But she also takes some of the blame for not telling Diem more with the time she had. She says a few last commands. Take the Rosebane, use my key, heed my warnings, especially about my heir, and don't forget what you pledged to sacrifice to see your plans through. She is about to cast her vote when she is stabbed in the throat by Igneos. And I actually like this next part because it reminds me of that meme where the people are pointing their finger guns at everyone, but this time it's blades that Sophos points out no one should even have. And I now must point out something I completely missed the first time too. It says her cell has glittering black inlaid beneath the sharpened points of her nails. And then when Igneos is doing the final blow, it says her nails are deep in his flesh. So she basically killed him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyways, the ground trembles and Diem gets the Umbros crown, which was obviously going to happen.
How did she not realize she didn't have the crown to begin with when she thought she died the first time?
No, that was us. We didn't.
Wait.
No, like DM didn't realize, like, you know how she gets that sensation of like the crown changing a little bit?
Oh, because she's always been drugged with flame root when one of them's gotten to her.
Except for when, what was the most recent one before this that died?
The Fortos
Fortos?
King. She knew. She had the burning sensation.
Well,
Anyway.
like you're saying,
And he
how did
talked
she
to her.
not know she didn't have it?
Yeah.
Well, I think she's like not 100% sure how it's working. So she's, I don't know, she's thinking she could be dead and maybe the crown hasn't passed to me. Maybe
She
she's the
doesn't
exception.
know.
Like,
She doesn't know that the crown's going to pass to her. She hasn't put 2 and 2 together with your cell's warnings about the one that's supposed to take the crown. She doesn't know it's going to be her yet. She literally hasn't sat down and been like, oh, it's me.
yeah, I'm taking
I'm just
every
wondering
single
if
crown.
she thinks she has to enact the actual final act herself to be able to gain that crown.
No,
Or that
'cause-
No, because
piece
the
of
only one
crown.
she does that to is Fortos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
literally.
that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
She has Montio's crown and she knows she
didn't
didn't
kill
even
him.
know
She
he
didn't
She
know
died.
helped
he was-
him.
They were
Yeah.
dead.
And now she has
Yourself.
2 Gryverns or 3?
She has the Umbros Gryvern,
Yep.
her Gryvern, and the
They're what-
Fortos and Montios are both dead. So she
Okay.
has 2.
She has 2. Soon to be 20.
Wait. Oh no, Igneos is the one that's Sarai's mate.
Yes, it's Tybalt.
Tybalt.
A Tybalt fever.
Tybalt
Yes.
fever.
And she has possession of all the powers at this point because she doesn't need the crown to have it. She just needs to touch the land.
Yeah.
Yes.
But have we seen her use every single power?
I don't
I'm trying to
think
remember
we've
if
seen the
there's-
spark power yet.
Okay.
Like we have seen her do
And
the
we've read the
book
book.
reading, but
Mhm.
I don't remember the time when she's used the spark.
Okay.
Maros is the wind.
She's used wind
Yeah.
and
used
water to
water.
conjure it in the cells for the
She's planted
She's-
seeds.
yeah, she's used
commanded
Fanos.
pets.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the Phanos is animals and something else though. Because they each have 2.
Two, yeah.
I can't remember Phanos.
I don't know what goes hand in hand with animals.
And I don't even know what Arboros's other one is because it's plant life, which she's done.
What's the opposite of planting? Crop killing?
I have no
Maybe she can
idea.
destroy the land. Maybe she can suck the life out of land.
Well, she can feel the decay,
Yeah.
and her power does, her godhood still calls to some of it.
I
But I,
feel
don't know
like-
if that's just because it's of her father being trapped by it.
I feel like she's the one we know the least about.
Phanos
yeah,
absolutely
Phanos.
is.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out that Darrell is such an asshole here. Once again, kind of going back to what Jenna said earlier, thinking that they know
Yeah.
everything and that they know the best way to do it because they've, read a few books in the last 48 hours?
Literally,
Without still sharing that information.
Yes.
it is insane to me how cocky all these crowns are when most of them have fought or seen DM's power. And because Luther's told us, like, you can feel her aura. If
Yep.
you have a lot of magic, you can feel auras. And hers is crazy strong. It's got to be like her dad's.
That's why your
Yeah.
cell laughed. She's like, you guys just don't get it. Like,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
idiots.
I think she's like, I'm kind of happy that my time has come to an end. Do I wish I could see how this plays out for you guys? Kinda, but also I'm so glad to be leaving you fools. Like,
Show
I'm
some
so glad.
humility. Like, what is wrong with you guys? You have fought her personally. You've seen her in battle. Igneos, you got your ass absolutely kicked. And Luther, with his magic, could have beat you. Like,
Yeah.
what is going on? And Igneos is the maddest of all of them,
Yeah.
wanting to
Just
do.
because he's a hothead.
He's like, we can take on the kindred dude all on our own. Or they don't know he's kindred. We can take on the other descended all on our own. No.
Not
No,
without
you
DM.
can't. Are they all stupid? Are they just as dumb as Fortos?
It all goes back to they don't care about each other. They only care about their realms and their people in it. And that's what they hold the top priority. And I think that's why Umbros here is like, I'm sorry I didn't tell you more information sooner. I fell
yeah.
into the same trap that every single person here has fallen into, that I cared about my realm above all else. And that's probably what our ancestors fell into as well.
Yep. And she even acknowledged the mortals within her realm and
Yeah.
how mistreated that was, but also she tried to do the best that she could after realizing, like, it was kind of like a full-on, okay,
I'm about to die, so I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you everything I've done wrong.
Yeah, here's all my pride
to
that I
still leave
let
out,
get in
like,
the way.
critical information. Even the, like, the party never should have happened, or the dinner or whatever, and then the, like, big sescapade. They kind of needed to hold off on that maybe just a second to be like, listen, we need an all-out meeting and just sit here for a few minutes
Well-
and let me share all the information. But she wanted her to find a lot of it on her own too.
Yeah, and that was, I think, a part of like what could craft her fate is how DM got the information.
Yeah,
I also,
agree.
if I was DM, would have such a hard time when the Umbrous Queen was like, hey, yeah, you traded like the future of the realms for 2 days with your mate or something like that. And if I was DM, I would have been like, no, he lived. Like, I don't know. I felt very defensive in that moment when she's like
Yeah.
getting on to DM.
Also, can I ask a question that might seem really stupid? What the
Yeah.
fuck is Rosebane?
Never mentioned.
I know.
None.
I know.
I'm sorry,
that
but
we
I
can't
was
leave
like,
that chapter without
I'm
mentioning that.
so sorry. I don't know. When she said that, I was like, I don't know what Rosebane is.
I feel like I've read of Rosebane in other books though.
But not
But
this
never
one.
mentioned in this one.
I
I
know.
was so confused. Take the Rosebane. Use my key. What is the Rosebane? And
I'd
where
be like,
have we
before
been?
you get stabbed, can you elaborate where I'm finding this?
I just don't understand where that came from. I do not remember in any of these 3 books it mentioning Rosebane.
I don't either.
Okay, chapter 75. So much happens in this ending chapter to recap, so I want to make a little highlight reel of things we should know. DM has the Umbrous crown, and the crowns that are left are frantic. DM is now pardoned and her mom because, well, that's obviously how she's going to cast her vote. DM points out what Umbros did to Igneos. Igneos is frantic that he's going to die, but Darrell's like, I have a cure. It cured everyone with Godstone injuries after the battle. Thanks to only DM, and he obviously doesn't know that. DM threatens to then leave, but then she hears Teller's voice. Sophos is on to plan C. Sophos proposes that they reinforce the defenses on the Hearthstone by making it where anyone without a crown will instantly die if they step foot on the island. The people currently on the island would have until sunset to get off the island, which is approaching quickly, so they better get to it. Then Sophos binds DM to the island, never to leave the shores, and reiterates that when the sun sets, no one besides the 9 crowns would be able to step foot on the island. Oh, and no beasts can fly over either. Diem reluctantly sheds her blood after the other crowns and the spell is cast. Sophos tries to demand Diem get into the cell, but Diem begs to not be put into it. She doesn't want to become like her father, and Sophos actually changes their mind. Everyone then bolts, and Diem starts shouting at people to run. Then Luther, Perth, and Teller are running towards her, and she is experiencing sheer terror. Durrell quickly abandons trying to save Teller at all costs as they run with their guards to get off the island. Diem is lost in despair that they've run out of time, and she's going to lose the most important men in her life when she hears a thump of wings. Sarai! But how did she get free? No further explanation is given. Sarai saves Luther and Teller after Teller has to decide to save Perth or Luther. He chooses Luther. That will surely be brought up with a therapist. Diem is relieved to see they've made it and is about to say she will finally make Luther her mate when she is stabbed in the heart by none other than Igneos, who says, Sophos has their way of doing things and I have mine. It ends with Igneos saying, but the flames always win in the end, as Diem's world goes black.
Does it mention her blood getting on him?
On Igneos?
Yeah, when he stabs her. Because, I mean, his cut is on his wrist and her blood cures.
I don't think there's a mention of that. I
hope
think
not.
in my mind, I think that what's-his-face thinks he can cure him.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not going to work because they don't have her blood.
Yeah,
So he's going to die. She's going to get the crown. She's going to live because if her dad can live from this injury, she can live from this injury.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think Luther did to get Sarai? Because he's like, wow, I didn't think it was going to work. And then there's nothing else.
I have no idea.
clue.
No clue. Because
No
I was,
clue.
it kind of stays on that for a second. And I'm like, what could he have
Was
done?
it Lily?
I don't know, because it says that Sarai had to know there was going to be trouble hours beforehand
To be able to get there.
to be able to
Yeah.
get there.
So he's the one who sends messenger hawks. So
Oh,
he
yeah,
sent a
maybe.
messenger hawk.
But what did he do to get her free? Is he's like, wow, I didn't think that was going to work. And then it did work. And then she's like, get off the island so we don't find
Yeah.
out anything.
Yeah, I don't.
Poor Perth.
Oh, yeah. Poor
I have no
Perth.
Poor
idea.
Perth.
What a
He
what a
just
way to
served
go,
his
though.
crown.
You know, he
I don't even know how Luther got away from the Sophos. Well, I guess he could have just beat him up because they're all.
he's the most part, and
Yeah.
they're all just like, I'm gonna use my brain. He's like, well, I'm gonna use my shadow magic
My
and
spectacles.
beat you. Do I sense a loophole in the 9 crown thing? Like, he's like, only the 9 crowns can come.
Oh, there's
On
a
the island.
loophole because there's a 10th crown.
Yeah.
From-
So
Yeah,
you know, does
So
that
is Dad
exclude?
gonna save her?
Yeah, I think that.
I think that's what it's going to
And
be.
then try and be like, I'm going to basically save you, but I'm also going to bring you to my cause, and this is how we're going to talk it out.
Well, I
Or
don't-
like Luther could be like, well, I'm just gonna start killing all the crowns, and then once they're all dead, you'll hold them all. All you have to do is bleed on the Heartstone and say, I release myself from this thing.
yeah, that's true. That could happen. I don't disagree with that. I did have a small theory brewing too about.
Well, then let's jump into it. What's your theory?
Remember how Arlie talks about when she gets pregnant, the guy flips his lid and starts acting crazy. And then you just read that Rosebane makes you crazy.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that there's Rosebane hidden in that cellar or whatever where he's locked in the temple, and that he took it during that time, and it has to do, for some reason, it's part of the ritual that has to be completed for something.
Or it's the only thing that's gonna keep Diem from going as crazy as her dad.
I thought you said it causes insanity.
It causes hallucinations.
That is what Google
and-
said, but I
Okay.
would take that with a grain of salt because when I Googled where it's mentioned in the book, it is only in this 3rd book, it says.
Yeah.
We could look on our Kindles right now and highlight the word and see where it's mentioned,
Yeah.
but
It's claimed that its an old name is God's horn.
but the Umbrous Queen says take the Rosebane.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, is it
Doesn't have
something
to
to
be in-
keep her
Yeah.
from going insane, for falling into that void that she mentions last book or last chapters where she says this void is almost peaceful because she doesn't feel a thing.
Yeah. I think that that's a future thing. I just feel
Mhm.
like maybe it was mentioned there as a premonition.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do this. Not, I don't think we were supposed to remember it from other.
I think it was the only thing
talks.
we were supposed to remember. Okay, so we could go into more fan theories, but we are going to have a final episode called Final Thoughts where we share our final thoughts about the series as a whole. And I'm pretty sure that we'll only be talking about fan theories and righting all the wrongs that we definitely got wrong through all the episodes.
Oh, for sure.
So it will be jam packed. There's a full episode of just us saying, sorry, we got that wrong. Spotlight, don't forget to donate to races. Link in our bio. If you are interested in learning more or donating, they are a nonprofit that helps immigrants seek citizenship and asylum.
Yeah, asylum.
And Jenna, I think you're wrapping it up.
All right, now let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Next episode, we will be doing our final thoughts of the Kindred's Curse saga. Be sure and follow us on all of our socials. Tune in every Friday on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast for a new episode of
Book Thoughts.